Hello students, again today you are going to study one more point of the plant water relationship topic, that is water potential, which is denoted by psi symbol. Let us see what is water potential. According to the principle of thermodynamics, every component of a system is having a definite amount of free energy which is used to do work. Osmotic movement of water is on the basis of free energy. Free energy per molecule in a chemical system is called as chemical potential. Chemical potential of water is called as a water potential. It is represented by a letter, Greek letter, that is psi. You can see the symbol psi. So this water potential can be represented by a Greek word, that is psi. So water potential of protoplasm is equal but opposite in sign to dPd. It has negative value. The unit of measurement is in bars or the pascals per atmospheres. So water potential of pure water is always zero. Addition of any solute in it decreases its psi value. Therefore, it has negative value. So dPd is also termed as water potential, and the OP is also now it is termed as osmotic potential. TP is now termed as pressure potential. It has always positive value. So water always flows from less negative potential to the more negative water potential. Okay. So difference between the water potential of the adjacent cells decides movement of water through plasmodesmata across the cells. So this is simply regarding the water potential. So chemical potential is also called as a water potential, which is denoted by a Greek word, that is, or the Greek symbol, that is a psi. Okay. So this is simply regarding the water potential. Let us see regarding the factors affecting the water potential. First factor, that is the pressure of capillary water, is essential. Rate of water absorption is maximum at soil temperature between the 20 to 30 degree Celsius. High concentration of solutes in soil water reduce the rate of absorption of the water. Fourth one is poorly aerated soil shows poor absorption of a rate, and the next one is increased transpiration accelerates the rate of absorption of water in the irrigated soil. So this is simply regarding the water potential. Let us see one more point with the help of new slide. Yes, plasmolysis. Exosmosis in a living cell when placed in a hypertonic solution is called plasmolysis. I repeat, exosmosis in a living cell when placed in a hypertonic solution is called plasmolysis. During plasmolysis, protoplast of a cell shrinks and recedes from the cell wall. Thus, the cell becomes flaccid. In a plasmolysed cell, a gap is developed between the cell wall and the protoplast. This gap is filled up by the outer solution. In a plasmolysed cell, Tp is always zero. That is, turgor pressure is always zero. When such cell is placed in a hypotonic solution, I repeat, when such cell is placed again in a hypotonic solution, endoosmosis occurs, making cell turgid. This is called deplasmolysis. In a fully turgid cell, Tp is equal to OP, hence dPd is always 0. Let us see one more thing with the help of another slide. Yes, path of the water across the root, that is from epiblema up to xylem in the stellar region. Water is absorbed by root hair cell through imbibition. diffusion and osmosis. Subsequently, the cell becomes turgid. Its turgor pressure increases, but its dpd value decreases. However, the immediately adjacent cortical cell inner to it has more dpt value become its op is more. Therefore, cortical cell become suck water. Yes, therefore, cortical cell will definitely suck water from the turgid root hair cell. It then becomes turgid and the flaccid root hair cell now absorbs water from the cell. I repeat this particular point. However, after, yes, again, how water passes across the cell of the root. Water is absorbed by root hair cell through the imbibition, diffusion, and the osmosis. Its turgor pressure is when its turgor pressure is increases. Sorry, when turgor pressure increases, but its dpd value decreases. However, the immediately adjacent cortical cell inner to it has more dpd value. Because of it, op is more. Therefore, cortical cell will suck water from the turgid root cell. It then become turgid. The flaccid root cell will now absorb water from the cell. So this is simply regarding how water gets diffused into the root cells. Let us see this thing with the help of a diagram. Yes, how water diffuses from the surrounding area into the root hair cells. So you can see this is symplastic path, then this is apoplastic path of the water diffusion, this is endodermis, pericycle, and the phloem. So this is, and this one is cortic region, and this is a cut section, transverse section of the root along with the root hair, showing the movement of water into the root from the surrounding area. Let us see one more point, that is the paths are divided into apoplast and the symplast. Let us see what is apoplast. When some amount of water passes across the root through the cell wall and the intracellular spaces of the cortical cells of root, it is then called apoplast pathway. This pathway occurs up to the endodermis. Let us see regarding the symplast pathway. When water passes across from one living cell to other living cell through a plasmodesmata, then it is called a symplast pathway. It is also called as a transmembrane pathway. Okay, so this is simply regarding the. Let us see one more point with the help of new slide, that is mechanism of absorption of water. Yes, so mainly there are two ways or the modes of absorption of water. First one is passive absorption and the second one is active absorption. Let us see these absorptions one by one. Let us see first one, that is the passive absorption. It is the main way of absorbing water through the root and not by the roots from the soil into the plant. The driving force is transpiration pull, and it thus proceeds through the dpd gradient. There is no expenditure of energy, that is ATP, as water moves in accordance to the concentration gradient. Hence, it is passive absorption. Okay, so this is simply regarding the passive absorption of the water inside the root. Let us see one more thing, that is active absorption. Here, water is absorbed due to the activity of the root. Root cells play active role in the absorption of the water. The driving force is the root pressure developed in the living cells of the root. The active absorption occurs usually at night when transpiration stops due to the closure of stomata as water absorption is against the DPD. So this is simply regarding the active absorption. So there are two types of absorptions. First one is active absorption and the second one is passive. Okay, so this is simply regarding the absorption. Yes, let us see one more point in the same, that is active absorption may be of two kinds. First one is osmotic absorption. Atkin and Priestley in 1922 proposed that water is absorbed from soil into xylem of the root according to the osmotic gradient. To create osmotic condition, there is an expenditure of energy, but such absorption does not directly require any expenditure of energy. Okay, so this is simply regarding the osmotic absorption. Let us move towards the non-osmotic absorption. That is, Kramer and Thiemann in 1959 proposed this theory regarding non-osmotic absorption. Sometimes water is absorbed from the soil against the concentration gradient. Such absorption requires an expenditure of energy released during the respiration directly. Poor supply of oxygen retards water absorption. However, moreover, low temperature retards water uptake because of decrease in the rate of respiration. So this is simply regarding the non-osmotic absorption. Let us move towards one more slide. Thank you. Remaining part we will see later on in next lecture.